Hi, welcome to English for You. I'm Seb.
And I'm Gigi.
Okay, so Gigi, do you have a camera?
Yeah, I have a professional camera.
Oh, so you like taking pictures then?
Yeah, but I usually use my camera for filming music videos.
Oh, okay, wow.
But I don't really use it that much. I usually use my phone to take pictures of food. What about you?
Food, yeah. Oh, food. I love taking pictures of food. I also like taking pictures when I'm traveling.
Oh.
You know, of like interesting sights, maybe, you know, like local people, like all those kinds of things. Nice memories that I can take back with me. Are you more of like a professional camera type person or do you prefer like just snapping it on your phone?
Snapping on my phone.
Snapping
definitely.
it on your phone.
I like getting my pictures taken by someone else.
Yeah. Yeah, but then it's so much effort, you know, it's so much effort. Anyway, so we both know that photography has been used to capture some very important moments, not just like when people are on holiday, but also in terms of, you know, the history of our planet, such as the moon landing and World War II. Because once we take a picture of something, we can never forget it.
Yeah.
And that's actually what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about someone who's taking a lot of pictures so he doesn't forget something very important. So let's check it out.
Reading.
Saving animals through photography. Many of our world's species of animals are dying off. National Geographic magazine has started a project to help save some of them before they go extinct. The Photo Ark is the idea of photographer Joel Sartori. He has so far photographed over 9,000 species and plans to take pictures of 3,000 more. You might think that every animal on the planet has already been photographed. However, some animals are in remote areas that people rarely reach. When these animals are seen in the wild, they may be too dangerous to get near with a camera. For instance, the stink badger is only found on the islands around the Philippines. If you approach it, this little creature will spray you with a putrid liquid. The warty pig, also from this region, will attack anyone nearby with its sharp tusks. Regardless of the dangers, Sartori has created a type of animal portrait that we rarely see. It's a truly original way of showing the wide range of animals in this world.
Okay, so today's article is called Saving Animals Through Photography. Okay, I don't know if you've heard about this one. It's kind of a newsy article, and it starts like this. Many of our world's species of animals are dying off. Ooh, okay, so species is a set of animals or plants where the members have similar characteristics to each other and they can breed with each other. So a dog, for example. Dogs are species, but if you have a golden retriever, or what's your favorite type of dog?
Golden Retriever, just name that.
Okay, Golden Retriever and a Dalmatian, a spotty Dalmatian. Those are the same species. They're different types, but they're the same species. But if we have a parrot and a goldfish, those are not the same species, different species. So yeah, that's what a species is. We also have a phrase there, dying off. When a species dies off, all the living animals in that group die, and there are no more of that animal left alive. So the most famous one is the dodo, dudunyao, which is one example of an animal that died off. Why? Because there's none left. And I heard that they were really stupid birds.
Oh, okay.
Like when the people came to the island they lived on, they couldn't fly and they didn't run away. They just stood there.
Okay.
So,
so they're just gone?
So they're gone. Yeah, no more dodos.
所以 die off 就是死去，相继死去，意思是绝种。有些人会说是 die out. We can use die out sometimes.
Yeah, you can. Or go extinct. Go extinct.
Go
as well.
extinct.
Yeah.
Okay, so the article says National Geographic magazine has started a project to help save some of them before they go extinct. So that's what we talked about, the phrase. So we saw the word project. What does it mean?
Okay, so project, that's a noun. And a project is a task that we do in order to make something or to make something happen. A lot of things can be projects. So if Chicklin and I were building a house, for example, you could say that building that house was a project. However, if your teacher gives you homework at school, that's also a project. So it's a very broad term.
Yeah.
We can use it for lots of different things. And if you give someone a project, if you ask someone to do a project for you, then you assign them a project. So the teacher assigned the kids some homework. He assigned them some group work. So we can also use project as a verb as well. I didn't know if you knew that. We can use it to mean to shine something onto a wall, like we project a movie. But notice...
反射.
Yeah. So we put the emphasis there on the end. So notice when it's project, the noun, it's project. So emphasis on the O. And when it's the verb, it's project. So it's tiny difference there. Tiny difference.
应该是投射啦，投射，反射 would be like reflection.
Oh, okay,
yeah, it's more
okay.
like a little slight difference, sorry.
I mean, your Chinese is better than mine, so...
But yeah, not really bad.
Oh,
so,
no, I'm sure.
Project is 专案，就是计划的意思。I think I'm going to translate what you said a little bit. So 就是跟你说的话题有关，像刚刚 Seb 老师有说到，说如果我们在盖房子这件事情就可以说是一件计划，又或者是老师指定你作业，这份作业也可以叫做是一个 project， 它非常的广泛。那么当动词的话，发音是 project，OK， it's kind of different。那它就是有投射、投影的意思，也可以当预计、推断的意思。For instance, we can say we don't have a screen, but we can project the slides onto the wall.
And we've got another good example sentence for project. We could say before the end of class, the teacher assigned each one of us a special project. Okay, so that's another good way we can use that word. So tell us a little bit more about extinct. Like, how do we use that word?
就是绝种 go extinct. 所以国家地理杂志 National Geographic 他们杂志开始了一个专案，就是在这个物种灭绝之前赶快拯救他们。
Okay, so what's happening? We've got this very sad situation, but this is not a sad story. It's not. The next line of the article says, the Photo Ark is the idea of photographer Joel Sartori. Okay, so I don't know if you've heard about him. He's a photographer for the National Geographic. Yeah. If you go on his website, if you go on the Photo Ark, I think .com, you can find out more about it.
Yeah.
But it says he has so far photographed over 9,000 species and plans to take pictures of 3,000 more. Wow, that is a lot of animals, a lot of species.
So far we see this phrase over here. It means until now, 就是目前为止的意思。所以这个摄影师呢，已经拍了超过9000种的动物哦，9000种品种的动物，然后他计划要再拍3000多个物种以上。
Okay, so he's most of the way there. He's mostly finished, isn't he? He's mostly photographed all of these species. So photograph, by the way, is a verb. And now when we know that photograph can be a noun, obviously. We have photographs at home on the wall. But when we photograph something as a verb, we take a picture or we snap a picture like we said in the introduction. So Sartori wants to photograph thousands of animals. Okay, so another word we can use as both a noun and a verb, by the way, is film. We could say that we have a film of something or we could film something. So we record a movie. We record a movie. Anyway, our example for photograph, going back to photograph, is John and Kelly hired someone to photograph them at their wedding so they would have lots of nice photos to remember it by.
OK， 所以我们来看一下 photograph 这一个字。所以当动词就是拍照的意思，或者是在照片上显得怎么样。So for example, if you're photogenic, and you can say that you photograph well, and if not, you can say, well, I photograph badly. You can say that 就是上相或不上相的意思嘛。
Are you photogenic? Sorry, photograph. Photogenic.
Well, it depends. If I'm wearing makeup, I think I am. But if I'm not, no, don't take pictures of me. No, go away.
Okay, I'll put my camera away.
Okay, 所以 photograph 当名词就是照片的意思。那我们也可以说 to take a photograph, just to take a picture of someone or something.
So we've got a important point next is you might think that every animal on the planet has already been photographed. I mean, right? Because we have Google, you know, like if you go online, you can find photos of anything, really. So surely we already have pictures of everything.
Yeah. OK，那我们来看一下这个 might， 我们来讲一下今天的文法哦。所以我们可以看到 might 这个字，那其实它就是情态助动词，那它意思可以分成2类。第一类就是表示必须或者是允许去做某一件事情哦。那一类就是可能代表推测啊，或者是可能性。那下面呢，特别是针对后者，就是可能性，我们可以用 must、can、may、could 或者是 might 来表达对现在情况的推测。那我们看一下，如果是 must 的话，它的说话者的认为某件事情是非常必定正确的，是最强烈的。那第二种can, may 它的确定程度就是会有一点低于 must， 那确定程度最低的字就是像 could 或者是 might。 那我们来看下面这个句子 He must think I'm a fool. It kind of sounds like a part of the lyrics from Sam
Smith?
Yeah, Sam Smith.
Yeah, you're a fan of Sam Smith.
He must think I'm a fool. Yes.
Yeah.
对，你已经觉得他已经觉得我很愚蠢，这个就是很肯定，他已经觉得我很笨。那第二个句子 He might have missed a train. You're just taking a guess. 他可能错过火车了。
Okay, so lots of possibilities there. Okay, so our next line in the article is, however, some animals are in remote areas that people rarely reach. Okay, so quickly just there, reach, we're talking about the places that they can get to, so places that they don't often get to. But we also saw the word remote there, which is an adjective. And when something is remote, it is far away from towns, cities, or people. So think of a remote village high in the mountains or a remote island way out at sea. Both of these places are very hard to get to, very hard to reach, so they are remote. So what is the opposite of something that is remote? We could say something that is urban. So that's something which is inside a town or city. So we could say, like, I enjoy an urban lifestyle. I enjoy, all my amenities.
Do you?
Yes, I like all my creature comforts,
okay.
I don't like to drive my own car to get somewhere. I want to be somewhere quickly, have lots of bars and restaurants and whatnot. I enjoy an urban lifestyle. We could also say something accessible. That doesn't mean it's in a town or city. That means that it is easy to get to. So it's opposite in a different way. Anyway, let's jump back into remote. And we've got an example sentence here. Roselle lives on a remote farm high in the mountains of Hualien. Okay, because Hualien is quite remote, isn't it? Yeah, quite remote.
So remote 就是偏僻、偏远的意思，所以花莲就是像台湾比较偏远的地方嘛。所以有些动物都在很偏远的地带，几乎很少人会去的地方哦。所以 remote 当名词的时候就是遥控器，我们也可以说 remote control.
Oh yeah, of course.
And remote as an adjective, besides meaning far away from towns, cities, or people, it could also mean not very friendly or showing little interest in other people. 有一点冷淡的感觉。
Or we could say distant as well.
Yeah,
he had a very distant mother, she didn't really, which is sad, isn't it? It's kind of sad.
Okay. 你可以说 his manner was remote and cool. 他就是有点孤高冷漠, it doesn't really talk to you and yeah.
Sounds like somebody you probably want to be friends with, actually, No. Anyway, next line. When these animals are seen in the wild, they may be too dangerous to get near with a camera. Okay, I can believe that. There is a lot of dangerous animals out there, aren't there? Yeah.
Okay. 所以当我们在野外看到这些生物的时候，它们可能蛮危险。这边的 may 就是前面教的文法典中里面的一个情态助动词，所以相机其实没有办法靠近，因为会很危险哦。
So, for instance, the stink badger is only found on the islands around the Philippines. Okay, that's a strange one. I've not heard of a stink badger before.
I think I've seen the pictures of it.
Oh, really?
I'm not sure, but maybe just like
Is it like a skunk?
Yeah, kind of like that,
okay.
yeah. So, 我们看到这个字 for instance 就是例如的意思，那就是 for example. 那例如Well, I actually don't really know the Chinese term for stink badger, but I think it's 臭獾 if you just
stinky
directly
badger.
translate that. 臭獾这种生物，你只能在菲律宾周围的岛屿找到这种动物。
I don't think I would want to run into that.
No.
I have a lot of friends who live in North America and they have skunks there, and when a skunk gets close to your house, you run because it's like that smell is going to destroy all your clothes, destroy your house. It's really bad to get sprayed by something like that. So I can understand why they haven't taken pictures of it. Anyway, it says, obviously, if you approach it, if you get closer to it and get too close to the stink badger, this little creature will spray you with a putrid liquid.
Oh my
okay,
goodness.
so creature, the first word, that's not what we're going about.
Yeah.
Creature is a noun, and a creature is just any sort of animal you can imagine. So it could be a fish, a bird, a monkey, or even something that doesn't exist, like a dragon, a troll, a unicorn.
Unicorn.
Yeah, unicorns, yay.
I love unicorns.
Actually, that's the national animal of Scotland. Fun fact.
I'm not sure if I heard of it. Maybe online.
It is. For some reason, one of the countries in my country has...
I love unicorns.
Unicorns as its national animal. Anyway, going back to creatures, back on topic. Creatures of the deep is something we could also say. So those are sea creatures, or sea creatures themselves. That's another way we can use creatures to mean creatures in a specific area. So in this case, we're talking about creatures in the sea or creatures that live deep under the sea. And one phrase that I used a little bit earlier, I don't know if you caught it, was creature comforts. So we're not talking about animals now. Creature comforts are the kind of things that you really like but you don't need. So if you're somebody who doesn't like to go, I don't know, go camping or be out in the wild and not have much. If you like to have like a big comfy bed and, Netflix and, just like chill out and face mask and all of that, those are all creature comforts. Okay. So our example sentence for creature, by the way, is this forest is filled with all sorts of creatures, including pigs, birds, and monkeys. Sorry, that's birds, pigs, and monkeys.
That's okay, don't worry. And creature 就是生物动物的意思。那么刚刚 Seb 老师提到的 creature comforts 就是物质享受的意思哦。And we also see the word putrid. What does putrid mean?
Putrid is not a word that I like. Putrid is something that it's an adjective and it's something that smells really bad. Now, some other words like we talk about something with a strong smell or sometimes even with a stink, we can be talking about it in a positive way, but putrid is never a nice smell. It's always a horrible smell. So a stink, we could talk about a putrid cheese. That's a cheese that's probably, been left on the table for like a week and it's gone green and it's like, bad smell.
So putrid 就是腐败的、发出恶臭的意思。那么口语上有糟糕的、讨人厌的意思。所以这种生物呢 stink badger，
对，
当很靠近它的时候，它就会把可怕、恶臭的液体喷到你身上，which is really bad.
Yeah, good for the badger, not for you. Anyway, there's another example here that the article gives us. The warty pig, also from this region, so that's, the Philippines, the islands around the Philippines, will attack anyone nearby with its sharp tusks. That's a little bit of a problem in some parts of Taiwan as well. You have pigs that can, charge you, run at you really fast, right? In the wild.
I think in the mountains. I'm noticing it before. They kill people.
Yes, with their tusks.
So tusk 就是长牙、獠牙的意思，所以同样来自这个地方的 warty pig 油猪嘛，硬要翻的话 just a kind of pig.
It's a really unfortunate name, right? I feel bad for it.
I know. 他们会用尖锐的牙齿攻击出现在附近的任何人哦。So it might be really hard for the photographer to take pictures of them.
Yes, because it won't stay still as well. Like if you want to take a picture, it has to stay still for a minute. Anyway, regardless of the dangers, Satori has created a type of animal portrait that we rarely see. Okay, I wonder what that is. But first, what is regardless of?
它就是不管不顾的意思，所以不管多么的危险，这个摄影师 I almost said designer 设计师sorry 摄影师呢，他还是创造出非常罕见的动物的照片呢。
Okay. So that's what regardless is of, but regardless of is, but create, that's the other word that we had in this sentence. That's a verb, and when we create something, we make something new. So obviously Satori is creating a new type of portrait, but I could create a new language, for example, if I made up my own language, or create a new type of music, or create excuses to tell the teacher if I haven't done my homework. So it's not always good things, it's just something new. Now, we could use some other words to mean create. We could say invent, which is to create something for the very first time. So Thomas Edison invented a lot of things. Or we could talk about creations, which is the noun form of create, and that is something that has been created. Then lastly, we have an adjective for create as well. We can talk about something creative. So someone who is good at coming up with new ideas is creative. Or, somebody, maybe a painter or an artist or a writer, they're very creative because they have to think of new, original ideas. And let's have a look at how we can use create. Well, Billy was kicked out of school for creating problems in all his classes. That was our example sentence. He was a troublemaker.
Okay, so let's take a look at create. 它就是创造的意思，是动词哦。那么名词刚刚老师都有讲到是 creation，那么形容词就是 creative。那么另外一个字呢 creativity，就是创造力，也是名词哦。所以你就可以说啊 ，He is a man of creativity。他是位很有创造力的人 which means that he's a very creative person.
He's full of creativity, lots of creativity. So where do we go next in the article? What's coming up next?
And next, the article says, it's a truly original way of showing the wide range of animals in the world, in this world.
Okay, and we had a word there that I think we mentioned a little bit earlier, original. So when something is original, that's an adjective, it is the first of its kind to exist. So a lot of creations are very original, aren't they? So, but for another example is, if I have an original Ming Dynasty vase, then that means that this vase has been around for hundreds of years. It was an original vase. It's not it might have been the first one to be made, or it might have been made during that time. But it's not just objects that have to be original, though. We can talk about an original way of doing things, like in the article, or an original idea. That's a bit more abstract, though. It just means that someone hasn't thought of doing these things before. Anyway, so what do we talk about something which isn't original? We talk about it being a copy. That is when if Chiklin makes something, a birdhouse, and I make a birdhouse that looks exactly the same.
I'm the original one.
Yes, Chiklin was original. She came up with the idea. I just copied her. We could also call me a copycat because I'm copying her, what she's doing, and taking the credit. Our example, by the way, for original is this director has won lots of awards for the original ways that he makes his films.
OK， 那我们来看是 original 这边的意思哦。这边意思就是独特、新颖的意思。那么它有原创性的意思。那课文中是形容词，所以当名词的话有原版啊、原创的意思。像今天我自己写的歌，那么这首歌 is my original， 不是别人帮我写的。那么动词的形态，我们也可以用 originate 或者是 origin 当名词，有起源、由来的意思。那我们来看两个句子哦。There are many theories about the origin of life. Or jazz originated in the U.S. and is now popular throughout the world. Okay, 那我们看到 wide range of, it means a variety of something, 就是各式各样的意思。所以这位摄影师用了非常独特新颖的方式来让我们看到世界上各式各样的美丽生物。
Okay. So that's all we have time for. I'm afraid. Like, I would really like to see some of these, these photos of these animals. And it looks like we might be doing that in day 2. But first, let's go over to our For You chat.
For You chat.
All right, so our For You chat question for today is, what is the strangest animal you've ever seen in your life?
Well, I've not seen this one in person. I've not actually gone there and seen it, but it is definitely the most interesting animal. It's actually a group of different animals. They're called the birds of paradise.
Okay.
I don't know if you've heard of these. They all live in Papua New Guinea, which is on an island near Indonesia. So very far off down south, not far from Australia. And they live very deep in the jungle. And these birds, what's special about them is each type of bird of paradise has a very special way of changing its shape to attract females.
Okay.
So, for example, some of them can blow up their neck really big into and always very colorful. So they can blow up a big red neck or push out a big fan of blue feathers out of its head. They're very, very interesting to look at. And they do funny little dances as well. If you Google birds of paradise,
I'm going to do that.
then you can see all of these strange animals. Yeah. So definitely that one. Definitely that one.
Okay. I'm going to check that out after this.
Yeah. And once we're done, we will be back with our day 2 and looking at some of these interesting animals. But for now, I am Seb.
I'm Chickling.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Saving animals through photography. Many of our world's species of animals are dying off. National Geographic magazine has started a project to help save some of them before they go extinct. The Photo Ark is the idea of photographer Joel Sartori. He has so far photographed over 9,000 species and plans to take pictures of 3,000 more. You might think that every animal on the planet has already been photographed. However, some animals are in remote areas that people rarely reach. When these animals are seen in the wild, they may be too dangerous to get near with a camera. For instance, the stink badger is only found on the islands around the Philippines. If you approach it, this little creature will spray you with a putrid liquid. The warty pig, also from this region, will attack anyone nearby with its sharp tusks. Regardless of the dangers, Sartori has created a type of animal portrait that we rarely see. It's a truly original way of showing the wide range of animals in this world.
Vocabulary Review. Project. The two high schools worked together on a project to clean trash from the river. Photograph. Denise enjoys going into nature with her camera and photographing the mountains and forests. Remote. Andy wants to move to a remote village far away from the noise and the stress of city life. Creature. Claire noticed that there were all sorts of creatures living in the trees, such as monkeys, birds, and insects. Create. Our boss created a new system for the office to make work easier. Original. The teacher brought a guitar to class and sang as a fun and original way to teach English.
以上节目是由活用空中美语制作，活用空中美语杂志，请洽询全国各大书店。如欲索取试听教材，请来电02-2364-4000 02-2364-4000，或上网查询，网址是 www.english4u.net www.english4u.net